evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 3, season 2 of Minutes to Midnight. My guest tonight is a gentleman called Frank Deegan. He is the co-founder of the Irish Survivalist and Prepper Group, and it's very apt we have him on, given what's happening in the country at the minute. So I'm going to bring Frank up, and we're going to talk about all things being prepared. Frank, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hey Martin, how are you doing? Hello, people. How are you getting on?
So look, we've had probably one of the worst weather events in recent times hit the country. There's a huge amount of population that are still without power and water. So we're going to have a conversation about how best to prepare for future events, because these events are going to happen again. Our infrastructure is under pressure in this country due to age, mismanagement, and all of the other woes that we currently face. But let's talk about just the basics in relation to: you've no power, you've no water. What should you have?
Well, Martin, thanks for asking me on here today. When you see a Category 5 hurricane in America, they're all prepared. They've got their generators. They've got their windows boarded up and the roofs tacked down. We had probably in excess of Category 5 for a small portion of the storm the other day. So that should have been a big warning to a lot of people. Your house is not going to be safe. Your roof is not going to be safe. But we're like sheep in this country, where we're told, fair dues to them, they gave us a heads up, said Category 5, a red warning, which means stay indoors, something's going to blow away. There was going to be damage, that's guaranteed, but I think we didn't take heed as to how much damage. Now, in hindsight, we don't get these storms very often, whereas in the States, they do. In future, I think these are going to become more of a yearly, 2 yearly, 3 yearly. It's like the heavy snow. We only get it every couple of years. We need to get more prepared. We need to be thinking along the lines of, is this going to happen today? Is it going to happen again tomorrow? Where I think people were let down at the moment, listening to the radio and the communications coming in from people, they don't have solar setups. They don't have solar power that'll generate the water, the water pumps that feed their own systems. People were caught asleep at the wheel, I think, on this one. And I think the government were caught asleep here on this. But there's nobody seems to be taking any kind of responsibility. In my own mind, I could see if this happened, if the wind came down my area, I'd be quite fine, because I've got the generators, I've got the solar, I've got the battery banks. I've got the food. But nobody can argue with what I've got. I go overboard a bit, so I'm a bit nuts on that stuff. But
so how long? How long could you survive off grid for theoretically? How long?
Theoretically, the only thing I don't have is my own well. Okay, but I do have supply, and I notice that up the road from me is a guy who has his own well, and I know he has his own power supply as well. So I don't think the water is going to be an issue, but we didn't go near him at all. But I just know the backup is there if I need it. How long could I stay off? I don't know. Is the honest answer, but I could easily do a couple of weeks. I'd say easily without power a couple of weeks, but as long as we had sun, I could go indefinitely.
Do you want? We spoke about it off air there. Just go through the setup you have in your house, and we might talk about the ESB bill as well, because I think people will be very interested to hear that it's worth the investment. Yeah.
Yeah, the bills were going up there about 3 years ago, and everybody was getting worried. After the Ukraine war, that's right, everything was going up and up and up, and I said, "Fuck this! Right, it's time to bite the bullet." And I went and I got a quotation on the solar, and it came in before the grant was 11.5 grand for a 5 kilowatt system. So that basically, with the grant, it cost me 9,500. I think it's the best 9,500 I've ever spent. Our last bill, last month, December, €7.
Now, people listen
to wintertime sun. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I have to say that the €7 was probably, some of that money in there was probably from the government. They give out the payments. So I can't say for sure, but €7 all cost us. So the next bill will probably be
well worth the investment, and you have that regardless of anything, as long as there's some light getting through, that you will always have some trickle of power. Like you're going to be able to turn on a light, you're going to be able to boil a kettle, you're going to be able to charge a phone or charge a radio or something like that. You're at a
yeah,
minimum.
the solar power and the inverter in the attic all works in unison. So as soon as the power's off, boom, it kicks in. Now I've got the guys who installed the solar to run their. We have a socket upstairs, double socket, so I can get extension leads. Now because we don't have a switch. What's it called? It's a relay switch that you use so that when the power comes on, it doesn't send signals back down the line in case the guys are working on it. That's actually something I'm getting next to go onto my generator because I need that. It'll come to me in a second, the name of the switch. But I can go upstairs right now and plug into the sockets upstairs with extension leads and plug them into my freezers, 2 freezers, and that gets them going. We have gas hobs. So we have gas hobs and an electric oven. We have Stanley. The Stanley uses a pump for circulation. That pump is also on the system upstairs. So basically, we're all good that way. So
this is old school.
That's an AGA there, right? Brilliant there, absolutely fantastic things there.
Yeah,
and that's that is sadly it's going missing. They're going missing in Ireland now, thanks to, as I said.
But if you think, I actually know the Stanley site in Waterford. I used to work in Waterford before, and I would have had reason to be in and out there. It was a lot of the production had stopped back then, but the actual site itself was still open in the industrial estate. So I've been in.
That's right. Yeah, they moved there from the Grattan Quay somewhere down there.
Yeah, but so look, we do not have emergency response systems in this country. So would you agree if I was to make a statement that Irish people really need to learn?
No, we have civil defence.
Yeah, it's there. But I know a lot of people are giving out saying, well, why haven't the army been deployed to help with people in power, this and the other? Now I know for a fact the army were deployed during the snow because they were bringing doctors and nurses in and out of the hospitals and stuff like that in their big 4x4s. So in relation to trees being down and stuff like that, it is kind of specialized work, and there's specialized crews that have to do it.
I used to, back a couple of years ago, I used to carry chainsaws just for that in the back. But I also got an email the other day. I'm with the Red Cross and a cardiac first responder. I carry a defibrillator in my van the whole time. But I got a request, if I am able to get away from work, can I get my butt up to the northwest? They're looking stuck for ambulance drivers. So take an ambulance from here and bring it up from the Red Cross. I can't. My work wouldn't let me go. So I'm a bit peed off over that. I did want to go up and help a bit more. I feel idle here. I can surely offer some kind of advice when I get up there and what to do and how to.
Well, look, but even coming on something like this, and we'll say we get some activity and traction to the Facebook site. So we move on to talk about the. Am I saying that it's the Irish Survivalist and Preppers group? Is it?
Well, I have the Irish Survivalist group and the Irish Survival and Preppers group. Prepper would be a different category than the survivalist. Survivalist would be a one-man show on his own, but prepping is prepping your family, prepping your community. If you can get community-minded people along the same wavelength as you, that's great. That's very hard to do until something like this happens.
You'd be surprised. There's great networks being built in the country at the minute because a lot of people are realizing, a lot of people are waking up to the fact that that the government isn't going to save you. You know what I mean? And we've become a state of people who believe that the government are responsible for everything. I'm a firm believer in personal responsibility and accountability, and you make your own way in life, and you when things go bad, you find solutions, and good family and good community is normally the solution to most problems, because if you've got someone to lean on and you're willing to let somebody lean on you from time to time, then everything normally works out fairly okay. So talk about tell me.
People are like sheeple. You need to be guided. They do think when something goes wrong that the government is going to rock up and help them. There are people on the radio there the last few days. So the government haven't shown any. Nobody has come from the government or the department of wherever and helped us. I mean, I haven't seen anybody on television from government up there. But
Micheál Martin was up there having an old cup of tea, staring at some woman blankly as she tried to
I'll help you, and then she says, "Who's going to help the rest of the people?" That's fair enough. Fair comment, like.
So look. Anyway, government are not going to save anyone, but people do need to take responsibility for themselves.
It's going to have to be done by ourselves.
I suppose at present I'd fall into the survivalist group, but then again, my family would be included in my group. So I have my go bag at all times in my car. With I'd probably. I haven't put it to the test yet, but I'm going to do it at some point. I think I'm okay for a week, maybe 2 weeks. That I can just go out into the woods and just set up.
We do that all the time. We were meant to do it actually this weekend, but because between the jigs and the reels, a lot of people can't make it, so we held off on that meetup. We normally
is it an open group? Can anyone join or sign up?
Yeah, anybody can come. I put up open invitations the whole time. Glengarra down in Glengarra down near Mitchelstown, or River Hollow up in New Ross. There are two places that we use regularly. Open invitation. Just come up, just meet people, and we sit around a fire, have a few beers, chat and talk about whatever's going on in the world. We wanted to do it in heavy snow. We've done it before in 2015 when we had heavy snow. We were up the mountains, and by God, it was a crack.
How do you dry your timber out? How do you dry your timber out and make your fire?
Good question, because 2 years earlier we were there and we had trees that were down. They weren't down by us, but they were blown down by storms. So we knew which ones we could tear into. And every year we go back and we said that one was down in 2000, 3 years ago. That one was 4 years ago. We know which stuff we can go in and take. Quilty gave us full permission to go ahead and do it. Yeah. And so as long as we don't interfere with anybody.
But damp timber I'm talking about. How do you get your fire started? Wet wood.
You go into that timber, it's all dry on the inside.
Yeah.
It's only the outside there by an inch or so.
Very good.
That burns brilliantly. Absolutely fine. I love going down there because of that reason. The timber is fantastic.
Yeah, it sounds it sounds lovely. What do you bring provisions, rations, or do you cook down there?
We cook. We generally cook. If you bring a deer with you, or bring pheasants or venison, venison.
Venison, yeah.
Anything's all the way. Bit of roadkill, we peel it off the tire.
Absolutely, that's the best kind.
I was going to O&A and I see a guy run over with a pheasant. I got out and I grabbed the pheasant and threw him in the back. He didn't roll over. He went between the tires. Came to the wife and a few days later.
Absolutely fantastic. I had a very interesting conversation last weekend with James Conway. We were talking about eating squirrel. Now, and I never have, but apparently it's apparently quite nice. And the Americans eat it quite regular in certain parts of America. But it's on my list of
shortly rabbit.
Oh no, rabbit. Yeah, I have people who get me. There's always venison in my freezer. I had a lovely rack of venison.
Yes, we're the same.
It's there's no comparison.
The whole time, so he gets it all.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But again, I wouldn't actually go hunting deer because until I learn how to dress the deer myself, I'm not gonna kill anything that I can't actually get the meat off myself. Deer, a full deer is beyond me yet. But rabbits, no problem.
I've proved that as well because they got me on camera one day trying to cut a deer, and so I broke the knife. It was actually a skinning knife for fish, very shallow.
The fillet, yeah.
When I hit the bone, it snapped. Oh shit! So you need the proper stuff like.
You have to learn. You can actually buy a dressing kit on Amazon. I think it's only about 30 quid. Everything's in it. They're not massively expensive.
That'll be a proper one for.
That's the one. Yeah.
It's a full time, and that's one. And there's other ones I got. I have a few of these around, and some of them are handmade. Andrew O'Mahony down in Cork. I don't know if you know Andrew.
I've heard the name. They're worth a few penny. Yeah.
This one now is I think about €70 or so, and that's it. Highlander, and they are nice little fillet knives, as you call them, but they're bushcraft knives, same. Not massive. They're perfect for the job.
Yeah.
So Andrew, if you see Andrew at all, grab him. He's a great guy.
I will. And I might actually because I'm actually in the market for a good multi-purpose knife because I carry most of the blades I carry would be woodworking related. So it's kind of saws, axes, and kind of choppers and stuff like that. But I can honestly say I do not own I've some small knives and stuff like that, but don't have a good utility knife, a good multi-purpose, weighted enough to use the butt as the hammer and to use it for meat.
Well, these kind of knives, you wouldn't be doing that. The handmade ones, like the one Andrew makes, yes, he's got big chunky knives. Like he's got. He came to one of the camps one day carrying a big bag. We didn't know I was in it. But 200 knives inside. I said, "Hope you don't."
Lovely. Actually, you spend the whole day going through them, like what I mean. That's my idea of a good afternoon. Now, what did you do? Well, I looked at 200 knives and I gave each one a 5 minutes individual time to look at every. Handmade. Yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. What's his name is again?
Andrew O'Mahony. Andrew O'Mahony.
Yeah, give me 1 second now.
Mahoney. He's got a Cork accent, but can't understand the word he says, we just nod.
You don't. A Waterford man not agreeing that Cork is the real capital of Ireland. How surprising!
Yeah.
Very, very good, very good. So look, that's all very, very interesting in relation to, we'll say, prepping and survival. And we will probably swing back to what you go. We'll name out some individual items towards the end. But I want to talk about what got you into this, how this all started, because I only heard about it today, and it's a very, very interesting story. I think it goes back to 1991, is it?
I was back in Merchant Navy back in the late 86 to around 91, 92, somewhere around there. And we're doing delivery of a company ship, and we bought it, and it was in Southampton. It's what's called a lightning barge. It's 3,600 tons. The Odin, they were called, and so we were tasked with bringing it down to Yugoslavia at the time. Now, this thing is not a proper ship in all senses. It's a huge lightning barge, so it's got it's like for all the world, it's got a container on the back. That's the size of your accommodation. So it's not equipped for going deep sea. That's where we were going. So we used to go. We'd hop over to France and we'd pull in and we'd stay the night. And we'd pull into the next place and stay the night. We were hop, skipping and jumping. But by the time we got to Yugoslavia, we were down on anchor. It's a Navy grey ship now as well, so it's a battleship grey. And the war had started probably a week or so as we were rocking up to the area. And sure, we anchored anyway. And between the jigs and reels, we were there for about 6 weeks. And there was a few ping, ping, ping. You could hear them popping, trying to shoot at us. Sure. I mean, we're a good bit out, but we ran out of food and we ran out of water. Water was the main thing. We had a few pilots coming out and they dropped off water and a bit of food to us, but eventually our company did get us out of there, so we weren't too bad. It was a bit of an exciting time because at that stage, the war, what is a war? You can't define what a war is until you're well into a few months in. Like, look at Ukraine, they're fully in there now. But at the beginning, the people said nothing's going to happen here, there, and the other. So that's what we were. We weren't too pushed. But the thing was, we ran out of supplies. It was later on, years later, that I got into sailing my own boat, my own sailboat. And we were planning on doing a trip around the world, but it didn't happen anyway because of 2007. The market crashed. But at that stage, then I really got into supplies because we're going to be jumping across the pond to the States. And it'll be 3 months without seeing a shop, potentially, maybe 6 weeks to 3 months. That's what we were looking at. So everything then was on prep and how do you do the long-term food prepping and all this. And I went deep into it then, keeping eggs for 3 months. How do you keep eggs with refrigeration? Our boat wasn't massive. It's only going to be a 41-foot Beneteau, but it started there, and that really got my interest going again there down in the 2000s. So after that, then I started doing YouTube videos on prepping and survival, because that was actually, I think I built a boat. I built a canoe back when I was 16 years of age, and I went off for a whole weekend up the river in it. And my mother had a canary because she didn't know where I was going. I said, I'm up in Innisteag in the woods with a tent and a cigarette lighter and a zip lighter and a tin of beans. No opener. I didn't know how to open a tin of beans. I had a Rambo knife. That was important. And that was great. I love doing that kind of stuff. Back then when I was only 16. So it all kind of stemmed from. That's what I've been doing now for years. And as an adult, I do it in the group, and I try to do it. And I'm not a super fantastic teacher or anything like that, but I give it a go, and I overly assume people know what I'm talking about or know what I'm doing. Like, I'm a master of knots. I can do any knot behind my back in my sleep, no problem at all. Traps, anything to do with bushcraft, I'm fairly efficient at it. I won't say I'm an expert because nobody's ever an expert. They're always learning. And
Agreed.
Ray Mears will be my guru. Not Ray. Yeah, Ray Mears, not the other lad. I can't think of his name. Bear Grylls.
Oh, Bear Grylls.
We're not allowed to mention him. He's not allowed to be mentioned.
That's just for TV. There's actually some fantastic guys on YouTube who do some great stuff.
Yeah.
That just
absolutely
go off into the Canadian wilderness, and they literally just they build accommodation. You know what I mean? They spend the day just chopping timber, building accommodation that retains heat and windbreaks, and you know what I mean. Sometimes some bring food to them, so it's fantastic. It's fascinating stuff to watch and what.
It's great, and what they say about when you're eating and you're at camp. If you go to a camp and you eat food at camp, it tastes better. It does. It actually does.
Yeah. There's no comparison. And if you caught it and killed it yourself, it's even better. There's something. Yeah, there's something very, ooga booga man about that, like, you know what I mean. But I just from would say looking into you've actually had some TV exposure, and you were in the Irish Times there in a year or two ago, and you've had some TV exposure and stuff like that. But one thing I came across is that you think, and I could be wrong, maybe I'm misquoting now, but you think a lot of this stuff should be brought into our education curriculum, and this stuff needs to be brought into the schools.
Believe it or not, I've had a friend of mine who he said this. He's involved with the school system. He does supplies for primary school primarily, and he came to me only 2 weeks ago, and he said, look, he's had 2 requests from principals about bringing the kids and kind of rewilding them, and would he know how to approach it? And Ray then mentioned my name, and so far I've put together a kind of a brochure and a to-do plan to see if I could get it going. So what I'm thinking of doing shortly would be going into a school, into the classroom environment, and showing them water purification systems in front of them. Telecommunication, and a telecommunication one is pretty good. I'm going to be using the ball and cup kind of method. You know that? 2 strings.
Yeah.
We start at that, and then we work it up to how Wi-Fi works. It's all intertwined, but you don't see it. They'll never know that. But if you show them, I think when we were saying the age group would be between 11 and 13. They'll be fantastic because they're like sponges. You can give them any amount of information. Food preparation, in emergencies, how you can sleep, how you can build an igloo. They don't know. They wouldn't know how to build an igloo because we don't get that much snow, but it's possible. I did one when I was 10. And I did one the very same as Ray Mears, believe it or not. So basically, I just give a quick example.
Is this the one with the it's actually a timber frame and you're just packing the snow in around?
No. This is pure snow. So basically, if you can get, say, only an inch of snow all around your garden, you pile it up in a big ball. That ball, leave it for a little while, that ball goes hard. So what I would have done was get a stick, maybe 8 inches or 12 inches, and you put a few sticks in, so it's in around. Now you go into the inside of it, you start digging out. But as you touch a stick on the inside, it's 12 inches. So you're going around. Now the snow hardens itself when it's compacted like that. So when you take all that snow out from the inside, you got a shell going on in there. And that's a 1 inch load of snow. It's easy to do, and it does actually work. It's science. It's just the crystals bond.
Yeah,
that's a simple one.
But like, let's just say we had what we had last week. We had that for a solid 2 or 3 weeks. Could you actually build enclosures that you can stay warm in?
Yes, that's what I said. It is doable and it's possible, and they're really great fun to do as well. And they don't take long.
But nobody knows how. You know what I mean? This is the thing.
Because we don't have that exposure here.
Yeah. But what could a person learn how to build relatively easily, especially in Ireland with forestry and stuff like that? What kind of whatever about the Scouts, okay, but I believe that sort of ethos and information should be brought into our education system. The same as I think that kids should be taught to drive in school. Kids should be taught how to, like you said, make knots. Now, I know nothing about knots. I know basic ones, but I don't know a huge amount about. I know how to use ropes and tarps and things like that to make, to make my own set up in my own camp. And again, it's the way I like it. You know what I mean? It's just the way I like to do it. But that's knowledge that should be taught in schools: how to fish, how to hunt, how to make a snare, how to make a simple rabbit snare. You know what I mean?
How to hook it, how to put a fishing rod onto a hook.
Yeah,
I learned that. I still remember being shown it once, and that was it.
Yeah, and all these things, and like how to store food, how to cook food. Like, young people today don't even know how to cook. Like, you know what I mean? So I mean, I would 100% love to see all of this. I'd like to see kids doing an awful lot more with their hands and their minds in school than spending times on phones and tablets and learning about nonsense unicorn stuff.
Well, like I said, the initial idea for the schools is it's an initial idea, and I've put six different topics on paper. They've got the plan as well on the heading, so he's handing it out. I actually meet Ray now on Friday, and we'll see, has he done it and have we got anywhere. And I mean, I'm in a full-time job. My job is full on 24, well, not 24/7, but it's a fairly intense job. I am an engineer with a broadcasting company, so my wife says I'm cracked, but I'd love to give up the job and just do that kind of stuff. That's what I'd like to do.
I give you some advice. All right.
Don't give up the day job.
No, do get out of the rat race completely, and find something that's, especially. I'm not gonna judge or guess your age, but I'm not that young, and my kids are pretty much reared. I've adult children. And I won't go into the reasons why, but I spent 25 years in the rat race, and I'm no longer in it. I don't earn half as much, but I don't earn half as much as I used to. I have never been happier in my life, and
absolutely.
I have all the freedom in the world to pursue the things that I enjoy.
Your mortgage is paid, I take it then, is it?
No. I have a few years left. I have a few years left in it. Yeah. But
same as here. Only a few, very small.
You find out once the kids, none of my as my children all reach the age of 15 for some strange reason. Well, I know the reason, but they don't cost me money anymore. And they're all still living at home, but they're all earning. My every one of my children have and had an income. My eldest is 25 soon, and from the age of 15, he's had his own money, and my other two are exactly the same. So once they have their own income and they get all, your expenses just drop dramatically. Look, kids are expensive, especially younger kids. They're very, very, very expensive. Food bills are way higher.
Their own income and their responsibility, yeah. Of course.
Exactly, yeah. And you can step away from the rat race. You can live on less. You don't need stuff. You know what I mean? We do waste an awful lot of money. Like I cancelled all my, I would have had the Netflix and the Amazon and all this stuff, and just gone. Every bit, all cancelled, completely gone. Don't have any of those expenses anymore. And just I got rid of everything that I need. I'm now, as of last week, I've gone down to a 4-day work week, which means I have 3 days off to pursue my own interests, and it can be done. It can be done. And like I said, the freedom, the absolute freedom, because like I said, I understand working for big multinationals, sometimes you can be a little bit tied in relation to time, and I suppose also in relation to your pursuits, which, wrongly, some people will kind of raise their eyebrows at and kind of go, oh, that's that American prepper stuff, you know what I mean? They're all crazy, you know what I mean? They're all stockpiling.
Until something like the storm that just came along, and then, oh, hang on, there's 500,000 people or 1 million people with no electric, no food, and they have no way of cooking, no way of heating and all that. How do you do it? I tell you can turn on your internet. Oh, sorry, you have no electricity. Sorry.
If you could recommend a book. So
I been taught that in school. They should have been taught that in school. How to heat a room like this with just tea lights.
The clay pot oven.
Clay pots, two room inside each other. Yeah. It's a simple idea, and I think not too many people are aware of it. You are.
No, I was aware of it, but I actually saw it being posted on Twitter yesterday or today, because there's a lot of knowledge out there.
Did I speak to you about that last week? No,
the
I
teapot,
didn't mention it, did I?
possibly. I'm not sure. I can't remember now. You
Yeah,
might.
it would be fresh in your mind then last week. Yeah.
We might have done. No, but I saw a picture of it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yesterday on.
Did you get boiled water on it as well?
Yeah, no, I tried this with them. I have a little. I was just messing around myself. I tried it with the small little camping fires that you can make.
Yes.
They're about that size. Those, I put a tea light in that, and I wanted to measure how much heat you could generate in that. But it doesn't work the same way as the heat convection or transfer is the same.
Yeah.
The
terracotta pot.
Yeah,
it just has the heat and it radiates it out.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
That's another thing I was going to teach you in the classroom.
But like even getting kids to build that and make that, and even just people have gardens that they should be teaching the kids how to light a fire, get a few little rocks or a few little red bricks or something, and let the children play with fire, but just show them how to start a fire.
That's another issue. Am I allowed to do it in the classroom? Can they light a fire? That has to be ironed out. We'd have to bring them outside and do it.
Bring them outside, and show them how to put a campfire together. Yeah, show them how flint and steel works, and show them how
They'll be at home burning down the house then when they get back.
Hey, do you know what? Imagine if a load of 12 and 13-year-olds went home to their parents and said, instead of playing on the Xbox or being on the computer or going in,
these are building fires.
We want to go camping, and we want to stay out in the field, and we want to get dirty.
Daddy can come as well and bring beer with him.
Listen, that's it. I won't talk about my. I won't. My parents are actually in the next room, and I'm actually just remembering one time I went camping as a teenager, and yeah, maybe that's not the best idea. there was large amounts of underage drinking involved.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And I think somebody might have ended up in hospital. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. I'll have to ask.
Sounds like it was a good weekend.
Oh, it was great. Hey, but I was smart enough to bring a key, and I was at home in bed before anybody else got in trouble. So, but that was
very
good. That was always one of my gifts. Just a quick question: if you had to recommend a book, so I carry the SAS pocketbook. I just have that.
Lofty Wiseman.
Yeah. So I kind of keep that one. It's a handy size. It's handy to carry, and it's got a lot of stuff in it. A lot of some of the edibles and stuff like that wouldn't relate to necessarily to Ireland. But in relation to knots, how to set up camps, it's pretty much got everything in it. Would you have a personal favorite, or would you have a book you can recommend to?
I have umpteen books, but they're all Ray Mears' Worst Case Scenario. Here's one. This is an American one. Worst Case Scenario Survival Handbook. Can you read that? It's backwards.
Worst Case Scenario Apocalypse.
Worst Case Scenario Survival Handbook Apocalypse. And it kind of covers, there's little aliens and stuff on that, but it covers basically everything in there.
As it got how to make anti-zombie weapons, etc.
Locate other survivors. It has air crash. How to find hostile clans. Jesus. How to fend off swarms. How to escape from clone dinosaurs. Oh, good, yes, I put the wrong book in there. How to fight dangerous creatures and humans. Now, just in case, you never know.
Yeah, very good. Return of the Dinosaurs. That's brilliant.
You know what? I really should have looked at that. This is ancient, and this is an old book.
Yeah.
I don't see the date. Don't see the date on it there. Blah, 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 blah. So, 2023. It's not old. It's just recopied, reprinted.
Yeah.
But the rest of them then would be Essential Bushcraft from Ray Mears.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Show me. That's the guy I watch on YouTube. Just show me up as it said that. Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Ray Mears.
Yeah. I watch him. I've tried him. Oh, have you met him?
I have one there from Ray. It's a signed copy, not that one. And I'm delighted with him. Happy out. That's not it. No. It's his latest book. So, yeah, I tend to get all the books anyway that come in. Anyway, it's one of them. I have many of them in there. But I've increased my my library on the survival and how to and all that kind of stuff, because in my own head, when I'm doing this thing for the kids, for the primary schools, I want to get my facts right. That's an important thing. so the facts want to be right, and probably impress the principals and the teachers as well. So yeah, that's where I am with that at the moment.
Would you think it's something that would say, given the current issue, I don't know. Look, I don't really pry into people's kind of political leanings and whether they follow what's going on in the world. But would you follow what's going on with the education curriculum at the minute and some of the issues with it at present?
Not necessarily, but I just do know that from my own experience, and that's 40, 50 years ago, whatever, we weren't taught anything about life. There you go. You got sixth class and then go to secondary school. There's no life skills in there at all of any description. I'm thinking rewilding, like one class or one couple of hours a month, couple of hours a week, I don't know, of theoretical stuff that you need. Theoretical.
It's even less now.
Yeah,
less now.
Even how Wi-Fi works, like I said earlier. I never even knew what Wi-Fi stood for earlier, but it's a Norwegian term. So, or Danish. It's one of them Scandinavian terms. You just say Scandinavia, covers a big angle of things. There's. What do you think on that idea? With that,
in relation to, I'm quite literally all for. Like I believe once you've finished national school with the ability to have a good level of reading, a good level of writing, and basic mathematics, you can actually achieve anything in the world. Because if you can read, write, and do basic mathematics, there's nothing you cannot do. So I think that secondary school should be, like what you said, is solely about life skills. The simple little things like wiring a plug, how to manage a household budget. The whole point of education is supposed to be setting up your life. And in the natural life we live, it's you should meet a partner, you should have some children, you should raise a family, and you have accumulated a certain amount of knowledge in your life, and you pass that on to the next generation. You would have got that knowledge from your peers, and you do the same. And I firmly believe in that natural cycle and transfer of knowledge. The knowledge that is there isn't much knowledge out there at the minute because younger people don't retain a lot.
They don't leave the house.
Yeah, and the phones kind of do everything. I love technology. I absolutely love technology. I love the ability, as long as it's kept good, which it probably won't. But I like the concept of AI. I think it's fantastic, and it's a fantastic learning tool. I can get knowledge way faster using AI than I could the traditional method, which would be sitting down reading a book. And I'm very, very poor to actually sit and read a book. But I believe that secondary school should be about life skills and should be about learning the real things in life, not necessarily the waffle that they're taught now, which is all kind of left social leaning. I think I might have lost Frankie's pause there. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you mentioned AI and went off straight away.
Yeah. Well, look.
Yeah.
They're watching and listening. Look. The reality is that your phone is there's algorithms there to pick up your language, pick up your words for marketing purposes. The world is run on greed and money, and we all know it. And what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? But some of us have decided to get off, which is why I'm talking to you, because you need certain skills.
If only I had another 2 years left on my mortgage, I probably would have just given it a heave-ho now, because I am tired of working. I've worked for a long time, and I have another friend who's always telling me just stop paying the mortgage. I said, yeah, it's easier said than done. They'll come and take the house off you. That's bad advice.
Well, eventually, there's a long process in relation to that. Now, I'm all for pay what you owe. If you borrowed money,
Sure.
Now, saying that, I also know that money doesn't exist, so it's
And speaking of money, what about them people up in the northwest, as we call it? They cannot buy anything because they've got their cards, no cash. What are you going to do, people? Cash is king. Cash is king. There's a guy on the news today, and he was typing. He was using a calculator, and he jotting it down. Oh, that'll be 27 pence there, please. And that'll be euro and something. And your man, no cash, but he's taking a note, credit note.
Yeah,
cash.
I go on further, because as soon as if the systems were to go down permanently, or even we'll say a long term temporarily, your paper money isn't worth anything either, because you know what I mean. Who said money is actually worth anything? So commodities, and skills and
Skills,
labor.
knowledge for sure. Yeah. The sugar, pound of sugar, salt. Back in the old days, that's what the commodity was.
Yeah,
Sugar
absolutely.
was the equivalent to
But
gold.
your labor, like you will be with your knowledge. Like if an EMP went off for whatever reason somewhere and the entire network was wiped out and there's no way of repairing this for years and years and years until we find a way to whatever. But your skill set is worth. You now become the richest man in the country because
With
you
knowledge,
can.
knowledge is power. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not after power. The knowledge is there, and that's
yeah,
why I'm collecting. I'm constantly collecting the books because the source is there in case something does happen. But I have also big hard drives that I have external hard drives. I can put them into a Faraday cage if something goes awry. But saying that, if a nuclear bomb goes, that's not going to go off in our house or over in Kerry or anywhere, but it'll be England. But will we get an EMP from here? Maybe. Will the sun give us one? Probably. We don't know. So books are not going to fade away over time. But the information that you have on your computer and on your phone, for sure they will.
gone.
Gone. And then that knowledge is gone as well. So yeah. It's we have people just need to start thinking along them lines. If you haven't already thought them lines, give it a little bit more.
In your group, would there be we say older gentlemen? Would there be people in the we'll say 65 plus bracket that?
Oh yeah. We have I think the oldest one. He was down with his camping. And I think he was he 83, 84. And he's sitting around the fire having a few beers.
But there's there's a wealth of knowledge there that we are just abandoning, or we're losing it, and it's I'm sort of a barfly type person that I drink in rural country pubs, and I'll sit down at the end of the bar with my pint of Guinness, and I will just sit and listen to the knowledge that is being exchanged between, whether it be local knowledge or old farming tips or. Do you know what I mean? All scandals from 40 years ago. There's just a knowledge there in our older generations that we've abandoned because
here's your brother beside you.
Yeah, we're too busy. We're too busy with technology. We're too busy with work. We're too busy with everything. Whereas these are the people who, you know what I mean? How many people still know how to would know how to attach a plow to a horse? You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Go back that far. Now I know a few people that can do it, but they're very, very, very few and far between.
I have no idea how to do. I have to put my hands up and say I have no idea. That's one.
I don't either. I just know. I know somebody who does. Like I said, if you're ever interested in, like I said, I spoke to you before that there's a man called James Conway setting something up in Sligo on his farm. Yeah. So, and it's all just about getting off the grid, self-sustainability, replicated around the place, small farms, lots of different animals, not these big massive factory farms where you're just beef. You know, few pigs, few goats. Few rabbits, that kind of a thing. Small farm, self-sustainable. You know what I mean. You grow some veg if you can, stuff like that. And your neighbour will grow a bit, and so on and so forth. And when you have that community built, then you actually have your full dinner there all year round. You know what I mean? Because somebody's growing carrots, somebody's growing potatoes, somebody's farming meat, chemical free, vaccine free, pesticide free. Clean food supply. Another belief I have is that our food supply is completely contaminated with chemicals, and it's causing a lot of the illnesses, the obesity problems,
they won't sell you a crooked carrot. Yeah, I got that. Yeah. In the shops, the EU are sticking their beak in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And but all of that misformed veg, as they say, like, you know what I mean. It gets exported to other countries. What
about the spoiled fish, or not the spoiled fish, but the wrong fish caught there in Kilmokee there 2 years ago? The captain came out and said, "Here, there's a load of fish for free." What did they do? They come after.
Yeah, but if you see, that's happened in the States. The ATF and other organizations and FDA have come out after private farmers. They've even gone after the Amish in relation to like non-pasteurized milk and making products with non-pasteurized milk and meat and stuff like that. Like, there's an attack on any form of self-sustainability and any form of actual healthy food.
Why why they come out with that. That's actually a great idea. That's something I would have loved to do. Was to go over to the Amish and see how they do canning and how they do their stuff. You know, on a
There's
holiday.
now to the very best of my knowledge, there's an Amish community in Waterford.
There's Quakers.
I think there's Amish as well.
On Dunmore Road. They're on a petrol station.
Yeah, them yeah, and they make the bread. Is that are they Quakers? That
I've been in the shop there, yeah.
oh yeah,
But you can't really yap. You can. There's always girls in there, but you can never yap to the older guys because you can't talk to the women.
yeah.
Ish,
And
you know.
and
Sure,
and there is some in the west as well. It's either Sligo or Mayo. It could be Sligo. I think there's a fairly substantial community.
Could be actually. You mentioned it, yeah. But it's more interesting to go to America and do it and just see, hello, Pilgrim. You know, come on and.
Oh yeah, well that'd be almost that's kind of it's a bit touristy now. Like I want to see it in operation in cold, damp, wet, soggy Ireland. You know what I mean? It's all looks lovely and when you've got rolling plains and. You know, there's 1,000 men carrying a barn across this, beautiful wheat
that's
field.
what I want to see.
Yeah, no, I want to see it in the piss and rain and cowled in January.
Yeah.
How
as well as
does it work?
As well as that, I did get an offer there last year from a TV company here that they asked would I be interested to go to America to look at a few bunkers and look at a few Amish communities as well. And I said, let me just see how my company is going. I cannot get away. This is why I need to leave the job and just go off and win the lotto first, and then go off and do all this kind of stuff. You know,
we're all waiting to win the lotto. Okay, so like in reality, is it something you could monetize? Have you looked into it? Because if you can actually make an income from something you actually enjoy doing, you won at life. That's it. You've just won. Like, have you ever looked into it? Into
well, I have looked into.
Yeah,
and seriously, I have looked into it. I went and I spoke with an ex-CEO of Bank of Ireland 2 years ago, and I had a business plan for land as well here in Ireland, and I approached one of the county councils with the idea of a brand new kind of village or town to be built purely on, now I won't say science, but on old method, not building an old town, but in Africa, they're making roads out of recycled tires and making bricks. Let's throw them bricks in there. Underground, I want a cable and all, anything to do with it's complete, in my head, a way of doing it, but offering at the same time, offering plots of land that people can use to grow their own vegetables and stuff like that. So allotments for all the world. But we're going to buy their vegetables off them and we're going to sell them to the bigger companies, restaurants and whatever. It was just a huge amount of stuff. Building our own lake, putting our own fish in it. And in around the lake, then you'll have your camper vans and camps and woods and whatever. Plant trees, 100 acres of trees. Quaitcha, they'll pay you for that. Solar panels or horizontal wind generators, not the big, ugly yokes.
Tell me, you mentioned those before. Explain to me what a horizontal wind generator is. Because you did mention, and I never looked it up, and I said I'm going to ask this question.
Yeah, it's horizontal that way.
Yeah.
And it's if you cut slots in this and you lift them up, the wind will always catch it no matter what direction it's going in. So if you have okay, just put
so sorry, it's just basically mills. Windmills. Yeah.
You could attach this to telegraph pole or a light pole, and it'll still go around and it'll generate some electricity. Or on a bigger scale, you could do it like a water wheel only on its side. Well, a water wheel on its side, but only wind. Yeah. It is doable. They've been playing around with it in America, and they've become efficient at it. It gets rid of the big windmills.
Not these big, ugly, horrible white things.
No big ice stores. Yeah. So I wonder what creative thinking here on this end.
Yeah. No, it sounds fantastic. When you get that town built, I'll be one of the first people looking for an allotment because it sounds
again, it's something I need to win the lotto, and I want anybody out there know how to win the lotto. Let me know and give me a couple of million, and we'll do it. I'd say I need about.
I'll be honest with you. I know, as a matter of fact, there is wealthy benefactors out in the world at the minute that if they find the right person with the right team And what they want is they want something already built, if you know what I mean, or a community there to go, enough people that they're not going to be
I
throwing
want to
money
build
at,
a community.
but they don't want return. And you
Yeah.
know that's I know that.
And this
I
thing
know
will
that for a
not be
fact.
for financial gain. This is for
This is the whole point.
us.
This is this is the whole point.
No finance.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
care
that's what,
about big money. This
yeah.
is covering payback of the loan or whatever it is we have outgoings to make sure anybody paying, there's going to be employees to do whatever, but you need to pay them.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we generate.
in an ideal world, we'll get into we'll have such a good system built that we won't need to worry about mortgages or debt or anything like that. Like debt is
They get
debt
paid for
is
the food, yeah.
debt is the fear that the system uses against us to keep us in control or keep us under
It's
control.
not like a commune around there, thank God. No, communes, no hippies.
No,
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
not allowed. Now, look, define
No,
hippie.
hippies, you're right. Right.
I'm just
No
looking
legal
at reflection
activity.
myself. No. Please look.
But it's something I've had in my head for years. The same thing as I have a book here from 2020. So during the lockdown, I had an empty folder here, and I am slowly but surely trying to write a book, and put all my kind of notes together on various different things as well, and everything that comes in the way, life is getting in my way to do a lot of stuff that I want to do. I have a lot of ideas in my head that I want to do, and I just need more time. I need more days in the week.
I'm telling you, start with the 4-day week. Go down to work 4 days a week.
I love that. Just pay my mortgage after that. I'm yours.
Wean yourself off it. Listen, we're coming up to the end of the show, so a fantastic conversation. We actually covered an awful lot in that 55 odd minutes. But final thought in relation to what is, if you could tell people 3 things they need to have and need to start thinking about now, saving up for or getting. What are the 3 things people absolutely must have to deal with future scenarios, whether it be snow, wind, rain, or whatever else may come our way? 3 top things.
Number 1 thing is a power bank, and not just a small power bank. You want a power bank equivalent to maybe 2,000 kilowatts, or 2,000 watts. So I have one at 600, and it'll run this computer. It won't boil a kettle, but it'll run phones, radios. It'll run equipment equivalent to 2,000 watts. That's the first thing they should have had. And I have a solar panel I plug into it, so it's completely portable. That's one thing. Second thing is I carry what's known as a bat bomb. You put it into the bat and you fill it up. So when I know the electricity is going to go out, I'm filling that bat bomb with the water. Alternatively, you can fill the bat itself, but it will go down. You know yourself that they're not waterproof bats, obviously. That's the second thing I do is the bat bombs, and they're cheapest chips. They're not that expensive. It's just that they're sitting under your bed waiting for a time to use it. The third thing, definitely got to work on the heat. The A-rated houses, they do not have, as we said, the agas. They don't have the stoves. You need to have a second heat source outside of your norm. People would scoff at you when the electricity's on. Oh, I have a great house. I have a stove. I never use it because I don't need it. Goddamn, you need it now, though. The kerosene heaters are fantastic. Leave it out the back. Kerosene will never go off. Leave it in the garage, and it never hurts to keep tins of food that will stay with a long shelf life out in the garage as well. Keep them in a nice dry area, not too warm, not too cold, and away from any rodents as well. So there's my 3.5 things. Will that work?
Mr. Frank Deegan, thank you very much for coming on. It is 5 minutes to midnight, so I'm just going to drop you down. Okay, that was great. Another 55 minutes absolutely flows by. We'll catch you next week.